Taylor, on the day you were born, I was working in the hospital in the cath lab, and I scrubbed in a shift, and I also circulated a shift. I was on call that night, and I went and talked to my boss, and I told him I thought I was in labor, and so somebody picked up my shift, and sure enough, I went into labor that night. I walked around the block a lot, and let's see. I took a shower that night because I did not want to go to the hospital dirty, and I put on makeup, which was not a very smart thing to do. When we went to the hospital around 11 o'clock, I was only dilated to a 2, so they sent me home. And I asked them, what do I do to know when to come back? And she said, when you can't walk or talk anymore, come back to the hospital. So I waited till about 8 o'clock that morning, and I had to crawl to the truck to get in. And we drove through stoplights and stop signs with just the horn honking because I couldn't wait. I was sitting on the side of my hip because your head was already there. They put me in the bathroom and told me to change clothes, and I couldn't do that. And they finally carried me to the table, and there was no doctors because he was doing a C-section, and you were delivered by a resident. When we brought you home from the hospital, everything was different. You didn't sleep. You didn't want to eat. We didn't get any sleep. Being a brand new parent, I didn't know how to make you happy. I didn't know how to feed you. People came in and tried to teach me how to breastfeed because you wouldn't take a bottle, you wouldn't take a cup, you wouldn't take anything. I didn't know how to change diapers. What else? I was off for 3 months, and then when I went back to the hospital, we had a nanny that stayed with you for 6 months, I think she stayed. She'd come in, and she didn't do dishes or anything. She just watched you. Your aunt watched you for a little bit first, but that didn't go very well. Being a parent changed me in ways that are hard to describe. The love I felt for you and still feel for you today is just beyond anything I can describe. I would die for you. The amount of pride we take in you is incredible. The day you were born, there was no more selfish bone in my body. Everything went towards you. I don't know. My every thought was of you every single day, and it still is. Payton, 13 months later, you were born. It wasn't quite as scary as when Taylor was born because I'd already been through it once. The funny things with you were I knew I wanted to walk when I started labor, and your dad would pick up frogs. The entire time, I could not tell you how many frogs he brought home and put in the backyard. And while we were walking, your grandparents stayed home with you. They kept begging me to go to the hospital because they thought I was going to deliver you at any moment, but I knew I wasn't ready. And I wanted to change Taylor's diaper one last time before I brought you home from the hospital. When we got there, things were just so different. They put me on the monitor to monitor you. And during that time, my water broke, whereas my water hadn't broken with Taylor. And my eyes got huge because the nurse looked at me and she told me, she said, once your water breaks, the pain is much worse. You were delivered probably 20 minutes later. The doctor came in and she told me I could go ahead and start to push. And when I was done, she said, oh, wow, my coffee's still hot. And that was pretty much a very quick, easy, painless delivery with you. And you were very different when you were born. You ate like a champ. Things were different at home because we had 2. Taylor wasn't even able to talk, and she would get jealous and bite my ankles when I was holding you. I know when I was pregnant with Payton, I was very worried that I wouldn't love Payton as much as I loved Taylor. And that was a scary thought and a scary feeling to have because you're not sure how that is going to work. The second you were born, those same feelings that I had for Taylor, it's just that undescribable, unconditional love, and how you can have it for multiple people. It's just amazing. God is incredible in the way He allows us to feel what we feel for our children. I don't feel any less for you than I ever did for Taylor. Again, the pride and the love that I have for you, I can't even describe to anybody unless they are a mom or a dad. Until you are, you won't even know what that feels like. We would go to the ends of the earth for you, for both of you.
It makes me feel really loved. I didn't know that. I don't know. I didn't know that I didn't know she was going to cry. I don't know. I guess I appreciate her a lot more, and I don't know. I got teary when she kind of started crying because I was like, oh no. Please don't do that anymore.
It's okay.
So yeah, I love you, Mom.
I love you too.